Welcome to the Shortway Show. It has been a while since I've done a show. I know I've been insanely busy, and some of you have missed it. I've been doing my radio show every Tuesday in the afternoon. That's true. I've been doing it Tuesday afternoons, my radio show, but I haven't done a bunch of these in a while. And I've been insanely busy with so many things. However, I couldn't say no to this one. My Lord and Master here in New York State, Her Majesty Queen Kathy, ring giver to the elites, destroyer of the middle class, banisher of the population, first of her name, she has given the State of the State address. Today, she did this afternoon, letting everyone here in New York know how wonderful and amazing she is in all her glory and what she is doing and has done for New York State. Of course, we had to do a Tuesdays with Kathy. There had to be. There was no way. I didn't want to, but I was compelled to do so by more than one person. So I will be doing that right now. In fact, we are going to go over her amazing speech. And before we start, remember that when I ran in 2022, I had three things that I said were important. Three: affordability, opportunity, and safety. That is what I said, is what I talked about. That was my entire piece, how to fix New York State. And since 2018, I'm on record of talking of people leaving New York State. I spoke about that for the past, give or take, 7 years. About 7 years I've been speaking about this phenomenon. Keep that in mind before we begin this. But the last piece that I want us to think about is how often you will hear, and this is in every speech she ever does, this should be a drinking game, how often you will hear how proud she is. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of that. And not just that, how hard she works. She works so hard. Everyone's working so hard. You will hear that again and again and again. Why? Because that's what she's proud of, I guess. Results, we don't get those. We do get pride and her hard work. What we don't get is results. That's not that important. So let me, if I could, go ahead and we can see this amazing, I don't know if I'll go there. This, what she's doing, I guess. I don't know. Maybe we'll see what she's actually doing. We'll see that right now, if I can show. And here we go.
State Attorney General Tish James, Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins.
Every time they begin.
Assembly Speaker, you can applaud any one of them you want.
I have to kiss everybody's butt.
Carl Heastie.
Clapping all of them. Oh, yes. All these people who've been ruining our state for decades. Yes. Oh, my God.
All right, I'm going back to the Majority Leader. Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins. Okay.
Yeah, she's been ruining everything for literally decades. Yes. She's terrible, too.
Women have
but
to
they've been grifting for years. So that's one positive
Speaking
thing,
of powerful women, Majority Leader Crystal Peoples-Stokes. Great friend.
There we go. Yes. She is absolutely ruining the state. Yes.
Senate
trashing it.
Minority Leader Robert Ort, again, another
Also,
Western New Yorker.
Yeah, another Western New Yorker who's ruining our state.
Assembly Minority Leader Will Barkley.
These guys are all terrible. Yes.
The esteemed judges of the New York Court of Appeals.
Oh, they are worthless and useless and embarrassment. Yes.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams.
Also an embarrassment. Oh, my God. They all suck.
Mayors and county executives from all across the state.
Most of them suck, too.
We're also joined by, yes,
most of them do. Yes.
Former governors David Patterson and George Pataki.
I actually like Patterson. He was a good guy. I met him more than once. Nice guy. Him, okay, we clap for him. He's good. I like him.
Also, many representatives from labor, distinguished guests, and clergy leaders, including Dr. A.R. Bernard, who is the president of our Executive Interfaith Council.
Let's just remember something. Who she never, ever talks about is people who are everyday business owners, because she hates them. And so they're never mentioned. It's all these people that are government who, by the way, help to lock down our state and destroy us. These are the people. They're amazing. Clap for them. Yes, clap for them.
members of my cabinet, Secretary Karen Persicilli-Keough and Counsel Liz Fine.
Yay.
And a special tribute to my policy director, the visionary behind many of our great ideas, Michael.
Okay, she actually said the visionary behind our great ideas. I will ask you during this horrible thing, is there any idea that she has other than throw money at it? That's the idea. And if that's what she needs, I am by default the greatest policy guy on the planet. I can throw money at stuff. In fact, all of us could. Hey, there's a problem. What should we do? I have an idea. Throw money at it? Yes. Oh, you are a great policy maker. What she means is, here is how I get my guy to create things that look like policy, but are basically giveaways to the people who have been donating money to me. How can I create more jobs for my cronies? This guy's great at that. And that's true. If your goal is to find ways of getting your cronies and pay back people getting them jobs, this guy is amazing. That's true. Yeah. He's good at that. Yes.
But today is not about us.
No.
It's about the 20 million hardworking New Yorkers we are privileged to represent.
Oh, that's who it's for. Okay.
What we can deliver for them in the year ahead.
Oh, that sounds good.
Now, I've listened as New Yorkers have told me about the challenges they face.
You have not listened.
And the dreams they hold.
That's a lie.
It's with them in mind that I proudly share my vision for 2024.
One proud. Hey, proud. You working hard too?
The state of New York is strong. Stronger today than when I became governor 2 years ago.
Blatant and utter lie. Never forget her saying that. The state is strong. No, it is not. And she is going to, I'm sure, talk about all the problems in New York State. The state is not strong by any measure. For you to say that is to blatantly lie to everyone. The state of New York is a goddamn disaster in every way you could imagine. Financially, physically, infrastructure, you name it. People are running away from our state at 300,000 per year. The state of New York State is a disaster.
It's healthier, safer, more affordable. Now, we've traversed some rocky terrain.
Literally lied.
And there's still some switchbacks before we reach this summit.
Switchbacks. That's
across our nation and our state. People worry
like that. Switchback.
That a safe and affordable life is somehow.
Wait a minute. She said safe and affordable. Weren't those my two? But I brought out one more if you remember what mine was. I said safe. I said affordable. Agreed. But I also said opportunity. Yeah. As is always with all of her plans. Here's what we're going to do, but there'll be no way to actually have anyone grow. There's never a plan for growth, ever. So the opportunity part, that goes away. But she talks about safety, lie. Talks about affordability, lie. But here we go.
Out of reach.
Oh, okay.
While shootings and murders have declined by double digits.
Okay.
Safety at the grocery store, the synagogue, or the subway.
Oh, you will hear her say synagogue and such often because a lot of her donors blindly support Israel. Again, you can support Israel if you want to, up to you. But she's the governor, right? She can personally support Israel if she wants to all day long. I have no problem. If you want to support Israel, good for you. No issues. My issue is she represents New York State and she's not representing her donors. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Always top of mind.
Oh, top of mind.
And although we've made great strides to take.
So of all the problems we're worrying about, the first thing she mentions, right? Of all the problems, the first thing she mentions is scared people in synagogues. Don't get me wrong. I don't want you to be afraid in a synagogue. I don't. Is that our number one issue in New York State? Not even close. That's not even the top 100. Her first one.
Guns off the streets.
Guns off the streets.
Too many parents are still fearful as their children get on the bus each morning.
So let me ask you, if you're a parent in New York State, what are you more concerned about? I'm scared as my kid gets on the bus, or how the hell am I going to pay my bills this month? Or is my student going to learn how to read? Or if I live in a place like Rochester, Buffalo, New York City, even if my kid graduates, will he or she be able to read? That's an issue in New York State. Our education system is a disaster. It's terrible, ranked in the bottom 50 percentile, and we spend the most of every single state in the union. No state spends more per student than New York State. None. More than California. And we rank in the bottom half, no matter how you rank us, graduation rate, pre-K, all these things. We rank in the bottom 50% all the time. But parents don't worry about that. Parents worry about, oh my God, somebody might say a bad word to my kid in school. What? No, parents don't care about that at all. She's making this up to keep her donors happy because her donors are doing fine. Her donors, their biggest issue is that, right? If you're super wealthy and you could write her a check for 40 grand or put $1 million into a PAC, that is your probably biggest worry because you're good. But average New Yorkers, not even close.
And too often, troubled individuals are discharged from the hospital without receiving the care they need and go on to commit violent acts.
That's where it is.
The potential of a crime, no matter how serious, is causing anxiety for our residents.
So she brings up the number one thing is a crazy person out there hurting people. That's a problem, I agree. But what about like the everyday crime we have everywhere? Isn't that more important?
And on top of that, they're also frustrated with the rising cost of living.
Yes.
Inflation is down 9.1% to 3.1% over the last 18 months. Paychecks are finally growing.
No, they're not.
And yet, our neighbors are struggling to make a dollar go further.
Now, didn't you just say that the state of New York was great and that it's more affordable than ever? Didn't you just say that and now say this? So when were you lying? Is this the lie or was that the lie or are they both lies?
And sadly, no matter how hard they work,
yes,
they fear they'll never be as successful or get as far as their own parents did.
So why were you talking about parents putting their children on a bus? This is the number one thing. Yeah, this is. So how are you going to fix that?
These are the reasons that I fight every day to give New Yorkers a better shot at a better life. And since taking office, I've worked with this legislature to create more than 600,000 jobs and reduce unemployment from 7.4% to 4%.
Okay, if that's true, then why are things working? Of course, this is right. If inflation is down and paychecks are up, why is there more struggle? Yes. Why would that be true? Yeah, I don't get it. Joel says it's all Trump's fault. She hasn't said that yet, Joel. I think she thinks the Trump thing doesn't work here in New York anymore. She hasn't been playing the orange man bad card as much. Biden still plays that card all day long. She stopped. She does not do that much anymore. Yeah, she doesn't. She doesn't. Andrea says, could it be that the education system is too top heavy? Yes, absolutely. Yes, 100%. So she doesn't do that, though. She has kind of stopped. I'll give her that. I'm trying to give credit where credit is due. She doesn't do orange man bad that much anymore.
And we did that while holding the line on taxes across the board. And in fact, we cut them for the middle class.
Look at that. They cut it. They cut taxes in New York. Wait a minute. I'm trying to remember what tax that I don't remember that. When did that happen? Huh. When did that? I don't know when that happened, but I guess it did. I guess it did. Yes. Mike says inflation's up since 2021, but down since the peak in 2023. Not the same as inflation. Now, thank you, Mike, for that. Yes. And she goes, well, in this, since last week, inflation's down. Since yesterday, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So good. Thank you for that, Mike.
We boosted K through 12 education by $5.3 billion, an extraordinary 18% increase.
Now, hold on what she just said. We boosted it. In what way? You threw more money at it. Again, this is the policy expert that she has. We've boosted it. Okay, great. So now we have better results? Oh, no. Results still garbage. So what did you do? I threw more money at it. Oh, so you got more administrators? Tons more administrators, more grants, stuff like that. So we added a bunch of administrators. We made sure our union dues are paid up. We did all of that, but we didn't provide any results. No, that we didn't do.
And we fully funded foundation aid for the very first time in history.
Oh my God, fully funded it. Look at that. What about results? We rank in the bottom 50 percentile.
We increased healthcare funding by 20%.
Oh my God.
To more than $112 billion. And we gave $1.3 billion in raises to our hardworking home health care aides and bonuses for healthcare workers.
So the state decides for home health care aides. The state decides for healthcare workers. The state runs healthcare in New York State. Our healthcare is garbage in New York State. We found that out during the lockdowns, how bad it is. And all they said was, well, we got to fix it. Who runs it? You do. Literally, you're just saying it. We gave raises. We did this. You run the healthcare system. You know what we need in New York State? We need a state-run healthcare system. We have it, and it sucks. And it's garbage. She just said it. Did she say she will produce better results? No. We are winning. Why? By throwing more money. Now we spend over $100 billion in healthcare. And people are still leaving the state in droves. Space says it perfectly. I'll sum up her speech. I've increased all spending. Accurate. Yes. And the IRS has said that New York State has lost $20 billion in revenue due to migration. That's not me saying it. That is literally the IRS saying that we have lost $20 billion due to people packing up and leaving our state. And she's like, I'm spending all the money, all of it. It is crazy.
Because they deserved it.
They deserve it. They deserve it.
And just this morning, as a result of our hard work with President Biden and his administration,
more proud,
we'll be able to invest over $6 billion in federal funds into our healthcare system over the next 3 years.
Look how awesome. Uncle Joe gave us another check. Have I been telling you that's our answer? Many of you think I'm somehow exaggerating. The answer is Uncle Joe. Why do you think she wants Uncle Joe to win again? Because if Uncle Joe don't win, the gravy train might stop. So he's throwing $6 billion to us, and that sounds amazing. Here's the question. Where's that money coming from 3 years later when more people have left New York State? Yeah. You're not actually getting people to grow. You're throwing money at the problem. It doesn't get any better, ever.
This funding will help support our safety net hospitals, address healthcare workforce shortages, strengthen access.
Why do we have a healthcare worker shortage? Could it be because New York State says that you can't work in New York State without a specific New York State license, even if it's an American license? So you're the license from, say, Connecticut or California, not good enough in our state? Could it be that? And do you run that? The answer will be yes to both of those.
To primary and behavioral health care, all important primaries of all of us.
Okay.
And on top of that, over the last 2 years, we invested over $7 billion in child care.
Wow. $7 billion in child care. Look at that. You know what? We have an actual budget. We have like an office of like child care management or something like that. That's, of course, a budget in New York State. Of course that is. And the budget at office is $6 billion a year. I'm not joking. $6 billion. You know what we ranked last time in childcare? The last time I checked, a year or two ago, out of 50 states plus DC, so 51, 39th. Let me say it again. Out of 51, New York State ranked 39. 39. And we spend the third most amount. I think like Massachusetts is higher than us. One other state, maybe California, I forgot. Massachusetts is higher than us. Some other state than us. And we ranked 39th. So again, did we make childcare better? No. Look, she doesn't promise results ever. She promises cash. And boy, does she deliver. She will throw money at all her people. Space was completely right when he said, I'll sum her speech up. I've increased all spending. Yes, yes, and yes. Absolutely. Joe says, she said invested. Now we have to hear her say funded for bingo. Yes. She did say it already. She fully funded something earlier, right? Yes. Always funding and investing. Always. 100%. Yes, absolutely. Which means no taxes for you.
And at the same time, we saved the MTA from a looming fiscal cliff that threatened the economy of an entire region.
No.
While ridership grew by 435 million new riders.
How could there be 435 million new riders when there's only 330 million Americans? Did every American come plus some people from Canada and Mexico show up? Did she screw that number up? Or is she just pulling stuff out of thin air? Or is that like all the people who ride? If that's true, doesn't mean anything because over 4 million people ride the subway on one day. So that means in 100 days, you got 400 million people. Is that how you're counting it? This is stuff she just says, see, more people are riding because she wants you to think that the subway is coming back. It is kind of, but it's still a disaster. Just recently, 2 trains crashed. Yes, that happened last week. 2 trains hit each other. In New York City, 2 subway trains hit each other. That's true. That's what happens. The MTA. What do you? Stop. We saved them. No, you destroyed the MTA because you're terrible at what you do. I gave you answers to repair the MTA 7 years ago. You won't listen.
And no administration and no legislature ever before has invested more money faster into our roads.
That's true. Okay. See, in every one of her speeches, there is some truth. No administration has given money away to cronies faster than her. That's true. When it comes to owning jobs and giving jobs away, she is without question the queen. She is better than Cuomo when it comes to that. And look, and Cuomo was good at this. She is better at rewarding cronies than Cuomo is. Cuomo actually was an aggressive tyrant who used force of will often. She doesn't use that. She uses bribery. She's good at it. She gives jobs to people so that they all owe her votes all the time. She's very good at it. She's actually better than Cuomo at that. Cuomo was much more of a heavy-handed tyrant like that with his force of will. She's much more, you get a job, you get a job, you get a job. She's much more that way.
And bridges and public infrastructure to rebuild our state. And I'm grateful.
To rebuild our state.
Grateful for your continued partnership.
Look at that.
And for the leadership of our majority leader, Andre Stewart Cousins, and Carl Heastie, our speaker.
They have been destroying this state for years. I'm so proud they're here to keep us.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you to both of you. Yes. Thank you. Now, we've worked hard to restore integrity and trust in government.
Working hard.
And here's what I know. You'll always see more headlines about the handful of places we disagree. But the truth is, we are united. United in our commitment to the people of this state.
Okay, that is absolutely untrue. Now, are her leaders united? Yes, because she's literally paying them all. And when I say that, I'm not joking. She is literally making sure all of their cronies and friends get jobs. She creates new environments. She creates new offices. So those people in Albany are united against us, but we as New Yorkers are not even close united.
And together, we've already achieved so much.
What did we achieve? Oh, she means we've stolen so much money. Yes, correct. And together you have stolen, I mean, literally tens of billions. So if you look at achievement as in stolen money, well done. Yes, correct.
But standing here and reciting accomplishments.
What accomplishments?
Is not what people want from their leaders.
Oh, okay.
Now,
you're right. They would like you to actually do something and make their life better. That's true. You're not going to do that, though, are you? Tell me what you're going to do. Not that.
We will continue to fight the right fights on their behalf and relentlessly pursue common sense ideas that lift up the people of this great state.
It's lifting us all up. That's why we keep leaving. It's lifting us up into the U-Haul van and then driving us down to Florida or wherever. That's what it's doing. Making Joe mad because all the New Yorkers coming down there.
Joining us today is Quentin Cologne Roosevelt.
Okay.
Quentin is the great-great-great-grandson of Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, that's
nice. Who took the oath of office to be president exactly 125 years ago in a place called Buffalo.
Look at that.
At just 19 years old, Quentin is the youngest elected official in our nation's capital.
You know what? I love how we are open. New York State doesn't even play. We love our royal families. Like the imperial and royal nobility of New York State, we don't even pretend. Like we just say, Roosevelts, Us. Cuomo's, us. We own half the Kennedys too. They're just ours. We're all the cool people. They love it.
Clinton, stand up.
Prince Roosevelt, Prince Quentin, please show. Everyone, please bow to His Royal Highness. One day he will rule you as I do. He will be King Quentin, first of his name.
I told him public service runs in his veins, and we expect even more.
She literally said, runs in his veins. She literally is saying, we believe in bloodlines in New York State. And we do. That's not a thing. We literally name our monuments on our royal families, on our nobility. That's a true thing. Yes. The FDR Drive, the RFK Bridge. Yes, we do it. The Mario Cuomo Bridge. We name our infrastructure from our nobility. And Quentin one day will have a bridge or something, or a tunnel, or whatever it is, right? We'll do something.
Like Quentin, I too was inspired by the 33rd governor of New York. In fact, I quoted Teddy Roosevelt my very first day in office.
Look at that.
I promise to always strive valiantly on behalf of New Yorkers and be the woman in the arena.
She actually put in woman. He didn't say woman. He said man. She turned it to woman because she had the virtue signal, which is fine. You just got to. So she literally changed history and lied. He did not say woman. He said man. She put woman because she wanted to change history and virtue signal.
And that's exactly what we've done.
And we have absolutely virtue signaled better than anybody.
That's why I'm willing to take on the stubbornly persistent crimes like retail theft, domestic violence, and hate crimes.
You're taking them on. Okay, I like that. Let's take those on. She's going to fix them all. Okay, show me how.
We're going to also revolutionize our mental health insurance structure.
Revolutionize
so
insurance.
People actually get the help they need. And we'll be protecting your hard-earned money from bad actors and predatory lenders.
We are going to protect your money from bad actors and predatory money. You know why? Because that's our money. They can't rob you. We rob you. Do you understand that? Think some bank is going to take your... New York State takes your money. I'm sorry, your money. New York takes our money. That's our money. New York State's money. Please.
And at the same time, we'll continue to build New York to a place that welcomes businesses, new and existing, small.
Why would you even say something as insanely stupid as that? We will continue to have New York. I can't. I have to go back. I don't know what lie she just said. It blows my mind. What'd she say?
They need.
Okay.
And we'll be protecting your hard-earned money from bad actors and predatory lenders. And at the same time, we'll continue to build New York.
Build New York.
To a place that welcomes businesses, new and existing, small and large, family-owned and publicly traded.
Blatant lie.
We'll keep driving the long-delayed infrastructure and public transit projects, like the Second Avenue subway extension,
which took 20 years to build. Why would you bring this up to New Yorkers that remember any of this? This was an embarrassment. It took 20 years.
The Interborough Express, the I-81 Viaduct, the Kensington Expressway.
I-81's broken.
Thousands and thousands of good-paying union jobs.
There we go. That's what. See, this is what it is. Look, she tells on herself often. She says, creating all these jobs, not making anything worth a damn. All those things that she says suck. They're terrible, take forever, aren't worth the money. However, does she give out jobs? She is the job giver. So we're going to give out union jobs, make sure unions support me and I keep getting elected. Nothing's going to be worth anything. ID1's a disaster and embarrassment, but that's fine. I'll give out union jobs and the unions will keep supporting me.
Workers can support their families.
Union workers can, not everybody else.
We'll fight for minimum wage workers because no one should labor 40 hours a week and still live below the poverty line.
New York State, for those of you who don't know, New York State has the highest minimum wage in the entire eastern area, Northeast. Highest. And the worst wealth gap of all of those states. Let me say it again. New York State has the highest. Our average minimum wage, I think, in New York State now is what, $16? It's like 15 upstate and 70, something like that. I think it's about $16 is our minimum wage in New York State. Pennsylvania is like $8 or something like that. You know, like Connecticut's like 12 or something, whatever it is. Yet somehow we still have the worst wealth gap and income gap in New York State. Worse than all the rest. I don't know what we're doing, but we're doing something wrong. So you shouldn't clap for that.
And we'll fight.
Yeah, John says, John says the I-81 and the I-40 was nothing more than a glorified traffic jam right now. Yes. Yes. It's terrible. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Sal says upstate 1525. Yes. I think New York City, it's a bit more. So I think the average is 16, if not mistaken. So yeah, absolutely. Joe says minimum wage in Florida is 12. We'll go up $1 a year up until 15. There we go. Yes. Yeah. But New York has the worst of all of them when it comes to income inequality.
Fight for our farmers threatened by extreme weather and workforce shortages.
No. Threatened by you. You will not support our farmers. Our farmers are dying. I gave you ways to support our farmers 7 years ago and you ignored them. You've been destroying them. What you care about is your big cronies come in and then decide, oh, we're going to buy up all those farms. She's going to save the farms by having them be bought out by big business.
We'll fight for seniors trying to make ends meet on a fixed income. We'll fight.
Okay, everyone who's retiring in New York State packs up and leaves. They pack up and they leave. How are you going to fight for seniors? I have an idea. Don't make them pay property tax once they're past 65. I brought that up before. No, you can't do that.
For women balancing motherhood and careers. We'll fight for children just beginning their journey in life. And in so doing, we'll pursue the common good with common sense.
Okay, all that she just said was nothing but a series of virtue signaling. We're going to help the farmers. No, you're not. We're going to help the kids. No, you're not. We're going to help seniors. No, you're not. We're going to have common sense. No, you're not. Nothing you said is true. You just said things that sounded good. This goes back to the rhetoric that is just so much better. Democrats, I know some of you guys who lean right or Republicans hate when I say this, but it's true. Democratic rhetoric is better than Republican rhetoric. It just is. It's good rhetoric. It's we're going to save the kids and we're going to save the babies and they're going to save all the things. And it just sounds good. And if you want to believe this, I mean, I don't. But some people want to believe her. They want to go, oh, it's going to be better. They hear this and go, oh, she's going to save us, the glorious queen. And they believe it. It's all garbage. None of it's true. But boy, does it sound good. Missy says, I already have a headache from rolling my eyes so hard. Yes, you know, Missy, none of it's true. But boy, does it sound good. It sounds great. Going to help all the babies.
By seeking common ground.
Common ground. See that? There we go.
As we uphold these commitments, understand this.
Tell me.
We cannot spend money we do not have.
What? We cannot spend money we do not have. What if we can't spend any money then, can we? We $400 billion in debt. I guess we can't spend any money because we don't have any of it. If that's how you think, the last thing we got was money from Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe giving us money. Michael says, since when? I was thinking the same thing. Is this a new policy? Look, Mike, I'm fooling myself if I think it is, but it would be amazing if that was actually a policy. Like, you know what? I've been wrong all these years. We shouldn't be spending all the money we don't have. Michael, if she said that, I would be like, oh my God, she's the greatest governor we've ever had. I wish she would say that, but I think you and I know that's more lies that just sounds good because that's absolutely not true, you know? Zach says you can always print it. She can't. Remember, states can't just print money, but the federal government can. The federal government can. Absolutely. The federal government keep printing. Uncle Joe keeps giving checks. Yes. Missy's being good to me. Says, like the video, please. Exit live, hit the like, rejoin the live, help us get around the algorithm. Thank you. Yes. Guys, please click that like button. I ask you all the time, and it does matter. If you are watching now, you like what I'm saying, click the like button. Do it right now. If you're watching on Twitter, retweet this. Just retweet it. All good. if you're on watching on YouTube, Larry Sharpe YouTube, you can always super chat me if you want to. That also helps. We're going to support the show. Patreon.com/Sharpeway. $10 a month goes a long way. I can start doing more of this and stop working so much. Is why I can't do the shows, because I got to work and make money so I can pay my bills too, because I live in New York State and she takes half my money. She protected me from predatory lenders, but she's still taking her cut. So yes, if you can do that, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much for saying that. I really hit that. Absolutely. So yes, Michael says, I spit my beer out of my nose when I heard her say that. I know. What? Okay. Where's she going with this?
Pandemic funds from Washington have dried up. Inflation didn't just hit families. It hit state government operations as well.
She actually cares more about that than anything else. She doesn't care about your family. That is irrelevant to her. What she cares about is that her state government might have a problem.
So it's up to all of us to make the hard yet necessary decisions and use taxpayer dollars creatively and responsibly.
Responsibly. She's gonna use our taxpayer dollars creatively and responsibly by creating jobs for her friends and spending more money. And she just told us how much money she spent.
That's how I'll tackle some of the toughest fiscal issues, like caring for migrants and a structural deficit, in next week's budget speech.
See that? She's going to talk about the migrants and the deficits. Now, she just said she can't spend money she didn't have. So how are you going to spend the money if you got a deficit? You have a deficit and a debt in this state that I think only Illinois is worse. Illinois is a basket case, but we're pretty bad.
But right now, let's talk about how we provide a better life for New Yorkers.
Yeah, let's worry about that money we don't have and those migrants who are coming here by the tens of thousands. We'll talk about that later. That's because the state is awesome. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you.
Starting with the initiatives we already announced since the new year.
Okay.
Last year,
yeah,
infant deaths were up for the first time in 20 years.
Wait a minute. How can infant deaths be up when you just told me how much money you spent on healthcare? When you just told me that you're in charge of the healthcare. It's great. It's the best. The state of New York State's awesome. Yet we're falling back to third world and babies are dying. That can't be true. Okay, how did Trump do this? I'm sure Trump did this somehow. I had to be. No, she hasn't done it. How do you get around that one?
And Black and brown women remain 3 to 4 times more likely to die in
racism. That's it. Okay. See, you guys were thinking she's going to throw Trump. No. It's racism. That's why she's worried about like online stuff, because it's racism. That's why the Black and brown kids are dying. See, healthcare is racist. That's the problem. Okay, I now feel better. At least I get why she's doing it. I'm not going to blame Trump. I'm going to blame racism. Okay, we're good now. She's back on brand. Good.
Childbirth.
Okay.
I won't let this continue on my watch.
You are my white savior. You are my white savior, Queen. Go on with your bad self. Save us all.
Moms have healthy pregnancies.
Save them.
So I want to make New York the first state in the nation to offer prenatal leave. We must protect women from unnecessary
prenatal leave. That's going to save the Black babies. Prenatal leave. So I got pregnant. I'm not going to work and the government's going to be checked, or does the business have to pay? So we already got like a year of maternity leave. We got that. That's already done in New York State. Now we're doing prenatal. So the answer to this one isn't throw money at it. The answer to this one, which by the way, I don't blame that the system's broken. I don't blame the system that you run, Your Majesty, Your Highness, that you run on being a crappy, broken system where now children are dying. I'm going to say it's racism, number one, because that gets me off the hook, so it's racism. And then my answer is let the mom stay home and give them checks. That's the answer. Don't fix the system. Wow. I did not see that one coming. I didn't see that one coming.
Necessary surgeries that put them at risk.
Oh, it's the surgeries.
We're also giving children the resources they need to live full, healthy, successful lives.
So we're going to give kids money, and we're going to make people who are pregnant be home prenatal leave. That's going to stop the brown and black babies from dying because of a racist. I don't know where we're going. I'm trying to make this work. I'm trying to make it work. I don't know where I guess that makes sense.
And that starts with teaching them how to read.
Oh, that's going to keep the black babies from dying if they could read before they die. Who wrote this? She literally just said, our healthcare system is so bad that babies are dying. That's what she said. Babies are dying. Okay, got it. How are we going to fix the system? Well, it's because racism. Oh, okay, then let's fix racism. We're not going to do that. We're going to let women stay home and give them checks when they're pregnant. Oh, is that racism or is that the system? No, they're going to teach kids how to read. I thought you were already doing that. I thought we had an education system that you just told me you were spending literally millions of dollars on. You told me that. You're spending millions of dollars on a system, but the kids can't read. I've been saying that your system sucks, that it's garbage. Now you admit it. But then how does that save the black babies that are dying from the racist medical system that you run? I don't know. I don't know where that goes. Andrea says, so brown parents don't know how to read. I guess it's the parent, Andrea. See? She said the kids, but maybe it's the parents. I guess. I don't know where this is going. I don't know. Sal says, can men get that too? No, keep working. Thought so. See, Michael's got you covered. Only have a female penis. Just identify as a woman, you get the prenatal leave. Oh, but you have to be pregnant? See, I don't know. Can you identify as being pregnant? I don't know what the plans are. I don't know how it keeps the black babies. I don't know. Zach says a 4-year-old this speech. Yeah, one of the kids who can't read wrote this speech. That's what happened. See, there it is. That's the I don't know. This is wow. And the sad part is she's gonna win again. Because the Republican Party in this state is a goddamn disaster. It should be an embarrassment. It should just, the Republican Party in my state should just walk away and just let independents run, and maybe somebody would beat her because that party's so broken. This is what she does this. She's this dumb and says this stuff. People are like, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh my God.
Say it's time to get rid of debunked curriculums in schools and get back to basics. Using phonics and proven techniques that work.
You put in Common Core. She did it. She was on board with the whole Common Core thing, which was garbage. Never worked ever. I said it was a bad idea. We had to get rid of it. There was literally a Stop Common Core party. I'm not joking. In New York City, it was a Stop Common Core party. That was like 10 years ago. Where you been? And she's been in power this whole time. This entire system's her system, and it sucks.
We're also promoting physical health and well-being by building pools in underserved areas and teaching people to swim.
She started this one with the black and brown babies who are dying. That's where this began. Now we're building swimming pools. I don't know.
And I'm proud.
Yeah, she's proud again.
Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado will lead a newly created Office of Service.
Ooh, there it is, a newly created Office of Service, swimming pools in New York State. I'm sure it's something like that. And they'll all get millions of dollars, and they'll all get new jobs, and there'll be no change, and the black and brown babies will still be dying, but man, there'll be new jobs. Okay, what's the name of this one?
And civic engagement.
Ooh, it's called the Office of Civic Engagement. I like that. That sounds great. That's going to help. Oh, nobody.
He and his team will connect New Yorkers who want to give back, especially young people, to service opportunities all across the state.
Because you know what there's not enough of? There's not enough of people who want to give back who have no way to give back. There's not enough of that. It's called nonprofits, and you are destroying them by making everything government run. You are literally stopping them by making the government run everything. Space says the pools are. Yes, see that? I want that job, Space. I don't mean the pools are. I want that job. Got it. So Andrea says, so babies die because they drown from another. That must be it. And here's the problem, Andrea. Okay. I think I figured this out. Too many black and brown women are having babies in swimming pool. No, are having babies in tubs. And when the babies come out, they can't swim, so they die. So if the government builds pools, these same women will have babies in the pools, and they'll be government run from the pools will be space. People will be there. So when a baby comes out, they will immediately see the baby how to swim so it won't die. I guess. I'm pulling at straws, Andrea. I'm pulling at straws. Maybe, yes, that's it.
And this is just the start of our comprehensive agenda for New York in 2024.
Okay.
We'll protect the environment by planting 25 million trees, fund resiliency efforts, and expand solar access, and make sure our state meets our bold emission targets.
Okay. Yeah, I think that sounds good. I like trees. Okay.
We'll promote jobs in agriculture and invest in family-owned farms.
Why would you invest in a family-owned farm? Why is government investing in think about that. There is literally no aspect of this state, none, literally none, that is not touched by the state, the government. None. Your swimming pool, teaching your kid how to swim is done. Dave brings it up perfectly. He says, hold on. Right. He says, teaching people to swim. How would kids learn to swim without government? Yes. So before government, nobody knew how to swim. Yes. It's insane. To a family farm, to giving back in your community. Every aspect of this state is controlled or dealt with by the government, nothing by community. Community is dead. The individual is dead. It is all government. You wonder why the state is dying and why everyone's leaving. This state is slowly becoming an actual police state run by the government. Everything for growth has to be done through the government, and it's terrible at everything it does. Nothing but bad. We should be embarrassed, but we're not. We're clapping.
We'll connect New Yorkers with disabilities to career opportunities. And fund research into rare diseases like ALS that robs millions like my own mother of their vitality.
The government will decide. Okay, I guess.
While we address countless challenges with 204 policy initiatives in our 2024 State of the State book.
She is happy and proud that there are 204 ways she's going to infringe upon New Yorkers. Like, she smiled. That's a positive thing. There are 204 more ways that I'm going to infringe in your world to where I think you can't do stuff without me. And if you try, I'm going to punish you. Yes.
Which I'm sure will find its way to your nightstands this evening.
Most of them, and Ed brings up a perfect one. He says, not to mention she killed off most pet businesses with the banning of the sale of dogs, cats, and rabbits. And by the way, that's accurate. Literally, you can't have pet shops in New York State anymore, unless you go to a government-run shelter. So the government decides what kind of pets you can have and when you can have them. New York State controls every aspect of our life. And you wonder why I go out of my way to try to stay here and fix this. This is all coming to you. Why do I care about New York State? Because you're next, homeboy. That's why. If we don't stop them here, it's coming to you. This is the test ground. We test all the garbage here. If it works here, it's coming to you.
Today, I'm going to just focus on a few key common sense items for our agenda.
Okay.
Fighting crime, fixing our mental health system, and protecting New Yorkers' hard-earned money.
Protecting our money.
Let's talk.
Her money. Yeah, that's a lot.
Let's talk about crime.
Okay. So I like that. Fahim, thank you so much for the super chat, $19.99. I appreciate it. And no comment. So just, you're a cool guy, Fahim. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Yes. And Mr. Tyler says, can't file tax if you can't read. Not true. They will still arrest you. You won't file them, but you're going to go to jail not knowing anything, but you will definitely go to jail. Yes.
If government can't keep their citizens safe, then nothing else matters.
Lie. Stop that. She says this more. Nothing she ever says. She says, my number one job is keeping New Yorkers safe. If your number one goal is keep us safe, boy, did you fail at that. Boy, did you fail at that. We had lockdowns. We had problems. We had people dying. You just said the babies are dying. You are terrible at all of these things. Don't do this. It's not your job. The job of government, if government is to exist, and it is, it should be one most important critical thing, to protect our rights. If you were to say number one thing, what she should say, she won't. But the number one thing she should say is the number one job of government, number one, is to protect your rights. And if we can't protect your rights, we shouldn't exist. Everything else is secondary. That's an accurate statement. I wish she would say that. She's not. But that's what you should be worried about. How can I, as a governor, as a local official, as someone in government, protect your rights? First, I must protect your rights. Then I can do any other thing we can talk about. What does local people want? Whatever. Fine. Let's deal with rights. That's the last thing on her mind. She doesn't ever talk about that. Talks about all these other things.
Last year, we reduced gun violence, bringing shootings down by a third all across the state. Murders are down 21% in New York City, 38% upstate.
From last year.
We made key revisions to bail reform to make New York safer.
Bail reform was a disaster in many ways. Conceptually, not a bad idea conceptually, but a completely disaster. And not just that. These decreases are from highs. So yes, it's like Mike talked about earlier. It's down from like the peak. Is it even lower than 2020 or 2019? I don't think it's gone down there yet. Terrible.
We enacted gun control legislation that's a model for the rest of the nation.
A bad model, but yes, a model. A model that was rejected by the Supreme Court. So I would go with an unconstitutional model, but then again, she doesn't care about the Constitution.
But certain types of crime have been stubbornly high.
What types of these?
New Yorkers see it every day.
Yeah.
Graffiti scrawled outside a synagogue.
Oh, got to go back to synagogue. How about just graffiti in general?
Formula locked behind plastic panels.
Baby formula behind panels is a crime? Oh, because it'll get stolen. Got it, okay.
A couple's argument turns violent and punctuated by gunshots.
True.
And on the subway, people suffering a mental breakdown or an overdose. Episodes like...
So, hold on. Note, on the subway, she said, people suffering mental breakdowns and hurting others. But the hurting other part was nothing. Huh. Okay.
These can cause an atmosphere of anxiety in our communities.
Anxiety.
But our success in driving down gun violence proves that targeted strategies do work.
No, it doesn't. It proves that the lockdowns are over. That's what it proves.
And that changing trends is indeed possible.
Yep. Stop lockdowns.
So today we're unveiling a series of crime-fighting tactics.
Oh, I'm sure this will work.
Alongside an era-defining mental health initiative.
And I'm sure this will not sound at all like a police state at all. I'm sure this will be wonderful.
So New Yorkers can live free from chaos and disorder.
Say that.
And focus on the things in life that matter most.
Tell me what's that.
First,
okay.
We must ensure everyone is safe at home.
Oh.
By protecting.
We got to be safe at home. She has to get in your house and make sure you're safe at home. Damn, okay. Is that why you were like, I don't know, banning cats and dogs or banning gas stoves because you want to make sure you're safe at home? Is that why? And okay.
Them from domestic violence.
Oh, domestic violence.
Now, the random attacks get all the press coverage.
Yeah.
But New Yorkers are much more likely to be hurt by someone they know.
Yeah, true.
In 1/3 of assaults,
the
attacker and the victim have a prior relationship.
Yeah, 1/3.
Our system fails too many.
What did arrest? What's relationship mean? What she doesn't tell you is most of that's gang violence. She won't say that. Most of that's gang violence, but that's fine. No worries.
Survivors. In New York City alone, 84% of domestic violence arrests end with dismissals. Think about that. And
think about that. Okay, end with dismissals. maybe the person called was lying, which happens all the goddamn time, all the time. Not just that, you may not know this. In New York City, if 911 is called, I think it's New York State, but I know it's New York City. If 911 is called and there is any type of dispute, the cops must make an arrest. Let me repeat that. The cops must make an arrest. I'm not joking. The cops must. So now my wife's mad, or I'm mad at my wife, whatever, or even next door, someone calls and says they're fighting or yelling, and we're yelling at each other. The cops can arrest somebody. Well, did I do anything wrong? No. I yelled at my wife, which is bad. I shouldn't. But that's not violence. Couples yell at each other all the goddamn time. It's normal. Lots of couples yell at each other. It doesn't mean they're fighting or hurting each other. You should not do that. Don't do that if you are. Right? But we yell at each other. Happens all the time. Now, should I be arrested for it? No. But I get arrested. Why is it dismissal? Because nothing happened, because your stupid law forces the dad particularly to wind up going to jail. Why does he get dismissed? Because there was nothing there. Like, think about that. Her assumption is all these bad men are getting away with murder. They're not. The system is garbage and it punishes the men, and she should be embarrassed, but she's not. This is a terrible stat. And her answer is put him in jail. I'm not joking.
Before last year, too many abusers had access to guns, so we changed the law.
See, they all had access to guns, so we changed the law, so we're done. Or the most common way that a woman is killed by her lover is a gun, right? No, with his bare hands. That's not a thing I made up. Do your homework. That's true. I guess you're going to do common sense hand control, chop off the guy's hands. What are you going to do? That's how it usually happens. And you know, if some woman, what could a woman have in her possession that might stop a guy from beating her or choking her to death? I'm going to go with, gun. What if the woman had a gun and some guy decides he wants to beat her up and she puts a bullet in him? Well, at least he wouldn't go to jail. He'd go to the morgue. And then we'd be okay. This 84% thing might go away. You could kill two birds with one stone. Look at that. You could do that. This is garbage. This is a terrible idea. It helps nobody.
And
you're clapping.
But now the Supreme Court is poised to possibly overturn a law that keeps guns away from the abuser.
Yes, because you are, hold on, 84% of domestic violence arrests end with dismissals. So first off, it's an arrest, not a conviction. And it's dismissed. There's nothing there. So these are not abusers, are they? But you've decided they are. You've decided they're abusers. They're not. So you think, well, we should take the guns out of the hands of everybody. No, terrible.
So we need to strengthen protections, and it's more urgent now than ever before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think.
You may have heard me talk about how my mother grew up in a home where domestic violence was routine.
Yeah.
She dedicated her life to survivors to break the cycle of trauma.
Okay.
And we know that prosecuting violent abusers is the best way to protect survivors.
That's the best way. See, if you just arrest more men, see what happens if you arrest an abuser and you put him in jail, when he comes out, he's no longer an abuser. And the woman who cannot have a gun, she's totally safe. It never happens that a guy comes out of jail or prison and then kills that woman. That never happens except all the time. The best way to stop an abuser is for him to be afraid he's going to get his brains blown out if he messes with that woman. That's the best way. People usually don't go mess with somebody when they might get shot or might get their butt beat. That could work. You could do that, but you won't. You will say, you know what? We're just going to make sure that we have more people getting arrested and putting more men in jail. Because you know we don't have enough of in New York State, men in jail. There's not enough of them. This will take it. This will solve the problem. More people in jail.
Take the story of Elizabeth Beechard, who's here with us today. Elizabeth, please stand.
Tell me, please stand, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth lives right across the river in Troy.
Okay.
Not long ago, she was trapped in an abusive relationship.
Terrible.
She and her pets suffered regular abuse at the hands of her ex-boyfriend.
She and her pets. This guy beat up pets. That's a bad guy.
Killed one of her kittens, maimed another, then one day her life changed.
Life didn't change when he killed the kitten. Pretty bad.
Veterinarian told her about Unity House.
Okay.
A nonprofit that helps survivors of domestic violence. Eventually, she met Troy Police Detective Russ Clements, who's also joined us. Detective Clements.
How did she just meet him?
Thank you. Thank you.
How did
he helped Elizabeth find the strength to pursue justice and file charges. He assisted her with police reports and stood by her side at the.
Okay, so if I understand what happened correctly, she got hit by her boyfriend, I assume, because why else would he meet her? He didn't meet her in the diner. They were eating, and that's not what happened, right? So clearly, she went to the cops at one point. Detective said, "What's going on?" Helped her file charges and all the things. So what you're saying is the current system worked just fine. Once she decided to file charges, the cops did their job. Good job, cop. I'm glad he did that. That's what cops should do. Helped her file charges against a bad guy who kills animals and beats women, and the guy got put away. This sounds like a good deal. What has to be changed? What did I miss?
Grand jury.
Okay.
With his support, Elizabeth has made a clean break from her abuser.
This is wonderful.
And is rebuilding her life.
Awesome.
Let's give them both a round of applause.
Oh, okay. This is a great story. Some guy's a terrible guy. She got trapped with this guy because she thought he was going to beat her because he kills cats. Terrible guy. She goes to the cops. The cop does his job. Well done, cop. Says, hey, let's get him put in jail. Get him put in jail. He's in jail. She's moving on with life. I don't see the need for any other law. This worked, right? What are we going to do? We're going to pass more laws. Why? Someone's getting fired for showing her that's it. This is a good story. Well, not good story, but I mean, good ending. Bad story, good ending. Okay, Joe's giving me hell. He goes, no, Larry, you're not getting it. When the system actually works, the house needs to add more government to change that. Yes! They did their job. So why are we adding more stuff? I don't get it. Jonathan says, defensive tools and training are an equalizer. 100% yes, Jonathan. That's correct. That would stop it from happening. Imagine she had a gun? Yeah, things might have changed. Absolutely correct.
I want to hear more hopeful stories like this.
Me too.
And that's why we're dedicating $20 million so district attorneys can gather evidence to prosecute abusers and take their gun.
Where's his gun? Who did he shoot? Did he pistol whip her? Did he shoot the cat? There's no gun involved in this. This is going back to the black babies are dying because racism, so we're going to teach moms how to swim. What? This is the same thing. So the system worked perfectly, so we're going to throw more money and take more guns away. Wait a minute, there's no gun in this. The guy didn't shoot anybody. He didn't pistol whip anybody. So they're taking their gun away. Why don't we let her have a gun in case terrible guy gets out of jail one day? She can put a bullet in him if he comes near her. I think multiple bullets. I don't mind. Guy's killing cats. If you want to put bullets in him, I'm not going to complain. Whatever. It's exactly the opposite. It's like she just tells stories. I think a 4-year-old did write this.
Guns away. And we're committing more funding so police can protect those most at risk of abuse.
Okay.
And clamp down on repeat offenders, because every survivor should have the same chance to break the chain of violence and build a new life.
But the system
across our nation and our state, retail theft has surged.
Oh, now
creating fear among
that's
the customers and the workers.
Okay, retail
thieves
theft.
brazenly tear items off the shelves.
No. These were mostly peaceful protests, so stop. These are people who, what did she say, want to get bread or something, whatever. Isn't that right? Come on now. Now they're bad. They weren't bad a couple years ago. Now they're bad. Okay, I guess just now they're bad. Okay, they're bad now. I guess I shouldn't be mad. They're bad now, at least.
And menace employees. Owners go broke replacing broken windows and stolen goods, driving.
Yeah. You know why? Because when an owner defends his property, you put him in jail. Let me repeat that. When an owner defends his property, you put him in jail. You will not pardon him. You will make him spend a weekend in Rikers Island, the most violent jail in the country. You are okay with it instead of having a blanket pardon, which is what I said. If you defend your property from someone trying to take it while you're there, you defend yourself, I will pardon you automatically. I don't care if the gun is illegal or not, if the weapon is illegal or not. Don't steal people's stuff. Larry, are you saying if someone comes to your store and robs, you should be able to shoot them? Yes! That's exactly what I'm saying. And the response all the time, Larry, it's the penalty shouldn't be death. Agreed. I agree the penalty shouldn't be death. But then don't rob the store while somebody's there. You're choosing to go into a store with a weapon often that you might have to use on that store owner and or employees. You chose violence if you did that. And if violence comes to you, that's your fault, not the owner's fault. So yes, if an owner, in my view, pulls out a gun and blows somebody away, oh well. Oh well. Oh well. You made the decision. You chose violence. I'm not saying you should steal ever. But if you're gonna steal, you probably shouldn't use a weapon and try to steal when people are around. I'm just saying, you probably shouldn't do that. Still a crime. And the penalty then maybe isn't death, but still penalty, go to jail. Either way. So anyway, my point being, this is your fault. You could stop this yet again by not arresting people who defend themselves. That'd be the end of it.
Many out of business.
Yeah.
These attacks are nothing more than a breakdown of the social order.
Yes.
I say no more.
Oh,
the
it's
chaos
over.
Must.
She said no more. She said it before too, didn't she? She goes, I say no more, which means nothing.
End.
Yeah, she's announced it. It's over. It's over. Glad she's finished it.
For the very first time, we're launching a joint operation between federal, state, and local law enforcement.
So to be clear, people are robbing bodegas and CVS's. That's what's happening. CVS's, Walgreens, they're robbing the places, right? They're robbing whatever. So the answer isn't let the owner put a bullet in the guy who walks in the door. That is not the answer. The answer is let's bring in federal, state, and local people to come in and fix this. Let's create a police state. Let's do that. How dumb are we? How dumb are we? We're not dumb. What does this do? This allows her to spend more money, give more jobs, and make more departments, which is what she wants. She doesn't want to stop any of this. That doesn't matter to her. I don't mean she wants to happen. She doesn't care. If it happens, awesome. Doesn't happen, awesome. She doesn't care about this at all. What she cares is, how can I make more departments, more offices, more jobs? How can I do that? And she's doing it, because now you have to have a guy who runs the federal, state, and local joint task force or something. That's all she would do, is make more jobs. That's it.
Along with the brand new state police unit to crack down on organized.
What? A brand new police state unit? How did I know that was coming? Of course, a brand new unit. You could just say, literally, hey, store owners, if you want to own a gun, you may. If someone's robbing, you may shoot them. Done. No need to make any of this. No need to make any of this. But we don't at all. Zach, perfect. Zach literally says it all comes back to job security. Correct. You're not wrong, Zach. You're not wrong. Michael says, play stupid games with stupid prizes. Bad. Yes. Hey, Larry. Good name, Larry. He says, thanks for the advice. Going to go steal now. I hope not. Don't steal. Bad idea. Do not steal. And if you're going to steal, don't steal when people around where someone might get hurt. But don't steal. It's a bad idea. Please don't do that. So, yes. All right.
Retail theft.
Okay.
As I said, we used this approach with illegal guns, and it worked.
It did.
I'm also proposing to help those business owners with a tax credit to help them cover.
Oh. See, we're going to give business owners tax credits after they get robbed. I'm not joking. So get robbed, we'll just give you a tax credit later. That's going to help. That's what you just said. So that you can make additional security, so that you can make more cameras to help our police force to create more of a police state in New York State. Here's a tax credit to create more of a police state in New York State. That's what she's actually saying. You could end all of that and just go, if you want to defend your property, you may. Done. If you want to defend your property, you may. For those of you outside of New York State, you may say to yourself, wait a minute, Larry, I'm a libertarian. Don't we have the right to defend our property? No, you don't. In New York State, you do not. If you defend your property, you go to jail. So you do not get to defend your property in New York State. That's why there's all this crime.
Additional security costs. And I'll work with the legislature to strengthen penalties for assaulting a retail worker or fostering the sale of stolen goods online. Let's
see that? If all we would do, here's what's happening. I know someone's thinking this. A retail worker, they're more important than you, average person. So if I punch you in the face, I should get 3 years. But if I punch the retail worker in the face, I'll get 5. That will stop me from punching people in the face. No, it won't. If I want to punch people, I don't think, well, I get 3 years or 5. I think, will I get caught or not? Increasing penalties doesn't stop the crime. Having a penalty can stop a crime. People are afraid of getting caught. That's true. But nobody is saying, if I punch the retail worker, it's 5 years. If I punch this guy, it's 3. No one's doing that. So this is not going to help. Plus, why is a retail worker more important than anybody else? What are we talking about? It's not more important at all. A retail worker is like anybody else. There's another human being. You should punch nobody. You should assault nobody, regardless of their job. I don't care if they don't even have a job. Don't punch people.
Get it done.
That'll work. We'll just make more people in jail.
Let's back our businesses.
You could back your business by not punishing them with this horrible tax rate. How about that? You could back them by letting them defend themselves. You could back them by letting them have contract workers and not just have employees. You could back them by not punishing them with a minimum wage. You could actually allow them to have more services. You could do all those things. But your answer is, we'll back them by after they get robbed and get assaulted, the guy or gal who assaulted them and robbed them will be in jail longer, and they'll get a tax credit. Meanwhile, all of their insurance goes sky high, and they can't afford to be there anymore. This happens more in poorer communities, and there's more food deserts. This is not going to solve anything. You are failing at every part. It's embarrassing.
Businesses and the workers with the full force of the law.
That'll help.
And punish those who think they can break the rules with impunity.
There we go. And now you care.
This extends to the illegal cannabis vendors who flagrantly violate our laws.
Let's make sure that after we save all the black babies, black and brown babies by training them to swim or whatever that thing is she said, after that, then we'll let them grow up. Why? So we can put them in jail for selling weed. That's what we'll do. Somebody, I forgot who it was, back in 2018 was talking about regulating cannabis like onions. Just letting people sell if they wanted to. That was, me. That would be me. I was the one who said that. She says, we are helping black and brown people with our cannabis law. And I said, that's not going to happen. Remember I said that? I said, this cannabis law is a terrible idea. It's just going to put more black and brown people in jail. And what is she openly saying? She's going to put more black and brown people in jail. Yes. She said it. She proudly said the other month, she put 31 businesses under. 31. They were in stores, paying rent, selling weed illegally because they didn't have her license. So they were selling weed to their communities. These are people of color, right? The brown and black baby she cares about so much, or she says she cares about. She doesn't, but she says she does. So she decides to do that. And then now they go to jail. Yeah. That's not how it works. How it should work. It is how it works. I told you it was going to happen. The cannabis legislation we put together in New York State is another embarrassment. And she's proudly saying, I'm going to put more people in jail.
We'll empower localities to go after the unlicensed shops.
Those terrible unlicensed
prosecute
shops.
businesses that sell to minors and padlock their doors faster.
Done. This way, we're going to make sure that minors only go to the black market to ensure that people who want weed will only go to the black market and not know what they're getting. See that? That's what we will do. We'll take care of that. This way we can arrest those people too. Yeah.
Finally, regarding crime, I want to talk about hate crimes.
Oh, got to make sure that's...
Particularly the rising tide of anti-Semitism.
Because your donor base loves Israel, supports no matter what, you have to do this constantly. What you haven't realized, you are not a national officer. You are a state officer. New York State is not supposed to have a foreign policy. You can have foreign policy and support Israel if you're at the national level. If you're the Secretary of State, President of the United States, a congressman, a senator, whatever. Sure, it's federal. Have foreign policy. You should care about us. It doesn't matter what happens for you in Israel. Now, your personal issues, no worries. Give your money to Israel, care about Israel, no worries. Do whatever you want. No concerns. My worry is you're the governor of New York State. Why the hell do you care so much? Stop. It's because you're donors, and it's an embarrassment. Stop.
Islamophobia. Since the horrific attacks by Hamas against Israel on October 7th. Of
course, you had to say that. Of course. October 7th is now, it's the new 9/11, isn't it? It is. Okay.
There's been roughly a 95% increase in hate crimes against Jewish.
No, in reported hate crimes, because you made up a whole new way of doing it. So stop.
Residents of New York City. And we're seeing a surge of anti-Muslim hate crimes as well. Our neighbors are being targeted on playgrounds and synagogues and mosques and on college campuses.
Where? Okay, this is just made up. Where are all the Muslims and Jews being killed in New York State? Where is it happening? Are people saying some bad things? Yes, and by the way, saying bad things, I'm not joking, is now reported as a hate crime. I'm not joking, it's a fact. So if I go, I don't like you Muslims, I don't like you Jews, whatever, if I say any of those things, that's now a hate crime reported. Of course, that's 95%. Of course. There was a terrible tragedy in Israel still happening now. And if you're on either side or the other, you're going to say you hate the other side. I get it. You're going to say you hate the other side. I got it. That's not a hate crime. That's not a hate crime. Michael says, yeah, that will be national news. Yes, national, not local. Absolutely. Joe says, when Queen Kathy says it makes it true. I forgot that. Yes, her decrees are by default. True. That's right. Yeah, got it. Ooh, Space says, taking bets on her saying white supremacy. She doesn't usually say that. That's not her jam, Space. Her jam's anti-Semitism. Absolutely. That's it. And she always implies racism. She doesn't outrightly say it. So, like she said about the black and brown babies dying and that had no answer for it, she just implies racism. So she's very good at implying racism. It's very rare that she actually says it. So I'm going to bet she does. I don't remember. I don't think she says it at all. So I'm going to go with no. I don't think she says it here at all. So maybe. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Let me keep going here.
And I will not rest.
Oh, she's not resting.
Until every Jewish and Muslim child feels safe going to school or entering a house of worship. So we propose to make more.
Why is that your number one thing? Let local people deal with that.
More than 24 additional offenses, from gang assaults to graffiti.
We added 2 more offenses. We made more laws in New York State, more reasons, more charges to put. And here's the worst part. She just spent her time talking about how she cares about black and brown kids, babies. She just said that. Now there's even more charges. And what do those charges always go on? Guaranteed. More than anything else, black and brown kids. Now you just said, hey, prosecutors, here's 12 more BS charges you can throw on top of people so they'll plea bargain out, because even if they're innocent, it doesn't matter. There's so many charges, they're just doomed. And now crimes, things like you said a bad word. So while you're beating someone up, you said a bad word. Maybe that guy was bad to you. Maybe he wasn't. Who knows? Here's 6 more charges. I'm not joking. That's what she's doing now. She's making this state more of a police state, because you know what we didn't have enough of? Laws. You know what we didn't have enough of? reasons to put men in jail. We didn't have enough of charges to put on poor black and brown people in the state. We didn't have enough of those. Now we got more. Now we got more, right? And Zach says it perfectly, because F poor people. Yes, because wealthy people will have good lawyers who will walk in and go, stop with these BS charges. Stop it. Forget it. I'm suing the state. Blah, I got tons of money. They will. But the poor kid won't know a thing. And when they throw literally 24 charges on him, which if you add it up will be 200 years, he will be afraid and he will plead guilty, whether he's guilty or not. She is a horrible person. She should be ashamed of herself. And everyone here who's going, yeah, you so go slay, queen, slay. You're all horrible people. You've been destroying the state. And when you put more black and brown people in jail, which is all you're going to do, you're such hypocrites. Because at least if you were open racist, you would just go, I hate black and brown people, put them in jail. At least you'd be honest. You're lying. You say you care. You don't. You'll put them in jails like anybody else would.
Eligible for prosecution as hate crimes. This means enhanced liability, sentences, and all.
Okay, enhanced liability and sentence. What does that mean, liability? That means more people can be sued for letting it happen on their property. Yes. Yes. So what about if it happens on your property in your house? Your pool that you didn't have to let the government build? Yeah. Now you're going to lose that because you're going to be sued. Because you edited and you aided and abetted a hate crime. I'm not joking.
Ultimately, it means we're standing up for what's right.
There's laws against hitting people, which there should be. There's laws against stealing, which there should be. There's laws against assaulting and murdering people, which there should be. This is not required. This is not required. And if we had a judiciary that was worth them, our New York State judiciary is a goddamn embarrassment. They're terrible. They should be ashamed of themselves too. They never stop any terrible law ever. The goal of your judges are supposed to be not only to just, interpret the law, of course, but also to check the other branches. They never do it. They just allow these terrible laws. These are all unnecessarily dumb, unconstitutional, can't be done, shouldn't be done. And they'll go, okay, whatever. And because we are a one-party state here in New York State, we are basically North Korea. I'm not joking. We're a one-party state. We're China. We're a one-party state. Republicans have no power in this state. It's a democratically run state, one party. No one can stop her. Larry, why do you call her queen? Because she has unlimited power, as the emperor said. She has unlimited power. No one will stop her. The judges are all, they're just lackeys to the state. They will do nothing of any value whatsoever. That's why the Supreme Court has to constantly stop New York State, because our judges are just lapdogs. They're embarrassingly bad. Our judges will do nothing. The legislature will do whatever she says because she's giving them all jobs. She has unlimited power. And what do Republicans in the state do? We're going to vote Republican because this time we can win. No, you can't. No, you can't. And your Republicans were so stupid that you sued me off the ballot 2 years ago. I could have done something. What could I have done? Larry, you wouldn't have won. Maybe, maybe not. But if I had actually won or come close to winning, more people will be listening to what I'm saying, not just you guys. A whole lot more people will be listening right now. And somebody might be able to push back on her right now. But now they can't. So it's Democrats' fault for voting for him and Republicans' fault too. Don't think you're better Republicans. You didn't do anything in my state. You screwed me over. You screwed everybody over. Your fault too.
Protect the people of this state. We'll carry this fight until every New Yorker feels safe at home.
Oh, till we feel safe at home.
At prayer and at work.
At prayer and work. So good. She loves us.
No matter how much we spend on law enforcement or expand their powers.
She admitted. Oh my God, she said the quiet part out loud. No matter how much money we throw at law enforcement or expend their powers, you New Yorkers just keep doing this free. We got to stop that.
New Yorkers will not be able to let their guard down until we fix our mental health system.
Oh, okay. Which you've been running for years.
Here's the truth. From Brooklyn to Buffalo, many New Yorkers are suffering. Mental illness doesn't discriminate. It touches the rich and the poor. Reaches into schools and senior citizens with the senior centers with the same severity.
True.
Even our first responders are suffering.
Sure.
Their experiences on the job expose them to horrific circumstances. And the suicide rates among law enforcement
I've been saying it for years.
60% higher than the rest of the population.
You didn't care when you didn't give the corrections officers literally a raise or a contract for 3 years. They were taking zeros for 3 years. You didn't care. You did lockdowns, which made corrections officers have to stay in prisons during the lockdowns because you can't get rid of you can't close the prison down. So they're staying there. And when guards were at home with COVID, he says had to literally do triples because no one could leave. Stuck there the entire time. She didn't care. She was lieutenant governor. Didn't say a word. Mouth shut. Said nothing. Didn't open her mouth one single bit. When the lockdowns came, and everybody who had addiction problems now has mental illness problems. You have mental illness problems, now you have addiction problems. Why? You were isolated. Isolated from your meds, isolated from your friends, isolated from your doctors, your therapy, and you sat there and watched it happen and said nothing. This is a self-inflicted wound, and you were there to help the entire thing. Your fault.
And too often, the people involved in violent incidences on our streets and our subways are victims themselves, victims of a system that failed to provide them the treatment they need. So
that guy who pushed that little Asian woman into an oncoming train, that guy's a victim. Okay? I mean, maybe, but I would care more about the one who's dead than him a little bit. I would actually mention that maybe, but it's okay. High quality care must be widely available, accessible, and affordable. Yeah, and you've been running it for years, and it's none of those things. So why would I trust you now? Literally, you have been in charge of that for decades, and it sucks. Why would I trust you now? Yet for decades, the mental health system was deprioritized and defunded. Yes. Over the 10 years before I took office. Which you were in office. You were a local person, a congressperson, and you were lieutenant governor. So you've done every part of New York State. You've been a public servant most of your life. This system is literally your system. So I wish there was somebody who could have fixed this. Look in the mirror, homegirl. It's you. Funding for mental health grew only by 2%. Not even keeping up with inflation. That's the issue. The result, too few psychiatric beds, too few mental health practitioners. Hold on. Too few hospital beds. I'm trying to remember, who controls the hospital beds in New York State? Oh, right, you do. Literally, with certificates of need. The governor decides how many hospital beds there are in New York State. I'm not making that up. The governor decides. As I said, in New York State, the government is involved in everything. Runs healthcare. She decides how many beds there are. That's weird. And when Cuomo was governor, you were lieutenant governor. That would be you, wouldn't it? Yes. Who makes the rules on how someone can come into our state and be a healthcare provider? That would be, oh, right, you. Literally you. You decide all these things. It's weird how that works. It is weird how that works. That is kind of crazy. Yeah. Joe says Trump controls hospital beds in New York. She hasn't done that. See, this is the thing. She hasn't done that. She's been good. She hasn't done Orange Man bad hardly at all. Not this time at all. And failing support systems. Yeah. Combine this with pandemic isolation. No. Not pandemic isolation, with your lockdowns. Please don't say random. It was pandemic No. It was your lockdowns. So thank you. Just a self-report. Thank you. Opioid addiction. Yep. And the toxic algorithms that govern social media. Oh, it's no wonder we have such a serious problem on our hands. It's meant to. Those crazy people who were pushing the little Asian women into the trains, it's because TikTok. It's because they were on Instagram. That's what it is. Okay, good. So the babies are dying because racism, I guess. And now the crazy people are killing people on the train stations because TikTok. All right, now we blamed enough people. We're good. Make no mistake. I won't. This is the defining challenge of our time. That's it, TikTok.
And that's why my administration, working in partnership with this legislature, has already made unprecedented investments in mental health care, a 33% increase.
Oh my God, I've thrown more money at it
over the last 2 years.
What matters, money.
And we boosted funding by $1 billion last year alone.
$1 billion.
Now, here's what this allows us to do.
Tell me.
Target hundreds of millions of dollars toward outpatient community-based services.
Okay.
Create more than 3,500 housing units for people suffering from mental illness.
So the government now also runs those. So the government runs those too.
Increase inpatient psychiatric beds by 1,000.
Government runs that.
And initiate sweeping measures to help our children, including millions for suicide prevention, eating disorder care, and school-based mental.
Government runs everything. Government runs all of this. Yes.
Health clinics. Focusing on our kids.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's critical.
Is it?
Because
wait a minute. I thought it was us feeling safe in synagogues. This is more important? Okay.
Precious resource. And investing in mental health services for the young means they won't be relegated to a lifetime of needing care.
Or you can teach them how to read and swim, right? I don't know which one you're doing.
Later on.
Okay. After
when
they swim.
Schools closed during the pandemic, kids turned.
Schools didn't close. It wasn't random. You closed them. You closed them. The schools just randomly closed. No, they didn't. You closed them.
Turned to social media to stay connected.
Oh, social media.
With friends and family.
That's what happened.
But a darkness lives on those platforms.
That was what happened. See, you guys thought that it was her horrible lockdowns that ruined everything. It wasn't. No, it was Instagram that did it. See, because the schools just closed for no reason. Don't know why it's closed. And there was isolation. I don't know why, just random isolation. None of her lockdowns, none. Random isolation. And then the evil Instagram and Facebook came and made mental patients throw Asians on the tracks. That's what happened. And then you're wondering why all the babies are dying. That's because racism. So we'll fix racism by having more racist laws. That will fix racism. And she's going to tell us how we're going to fix Facebook. And then that'll be done. Done and done. We've got the plan. I'm in.
Content often promotes themes of sadness, alienation, even suicide.
Oh, see that? It's that content that promotes negative stuff, which is not true at all, but fine.
The algorithms that make social media so addictive push that darkness onto young users.
Oh, that's what it is.
I'm thinking about New Yorkers like Alex Spence, who grew up on Long Island.
Okay.
She joined Instagram when she was only 11 years old.
She joined Instagram.
Immediately, the algorithm started suggesting images and videos about eating disorders and themes promoting low self-worth.
See, you know what happened? I joined Instagram. When I joined Instagram, they started showing me videos of low self-worth. I don't know where that comes from.
By the time she was 15, young Alex was spiraling.
So a 15-year-old girl who was unhappy. Yeah, that never happens.
Losing weight. She didn't sleep. Her life wasn't hers anymore. It belonged to the algorithm.
It was an algorithm.
After her parents intervened.
Okay,
and after 2 weeks in a psychiatric facility without her phone, she emerged a changed person, able to assert herself again.
So I want to make sure we do this one more time. So it worked. To be clear, this 50-year-old girl who felt sad, as literally most 15-year-old girls feel sad. By the way, statistically, the most unhappy people on the planet, regardless of culture, are literally 15-year-old girls. I'm not joking. Do your own homework. That's an accurate statement. The most unhappy people on the planet across all cultures, overall, most unhappy, 15-year-old girls. So a 15-year-old girl had a problem. The parents interceded, as parents should do, got her some help. And now she's fine. So the system clearly worked. Parents did their job. So what should we do? More laws. Is it me? Is it me? Like she's telling a story that literally says we require no laws. So no new laws. We require no new laws. So what am I going to do? Make a bunch of new laws. You just told me a story that required no new laws. That worked. The other one was that woman who went to the cops and got her terrible boyfriend or husband, I don't remember which one it was it boyfriend, whatever it was, put in jail. Worked. She's now away from him and building her life. Well done. No new laws were required. What are we going to do? New laws. This too. It worked. The parents stepped in, as parents should do, protect their daughter, as most parents would do. What do we require? More laws.
Today, she advocates for other young people at risk and dreams of the day.
So then a non-government person who went through it now is helping others via nonprofit, not government. So not only is this a good story, but now a community answer has popped up. What should we do? More government.
We have testified before Congress about the dangers of social media.
Don't
believe it or not.
Don't do that. No, don't clap for tyranny. Don't
Alex
do that.
is one of the lucky ones. And her mother, Kathleen, is here with us today. Kathleen, please stand.
You're a good mom. Nice. You saved your daughter. Well done. You deserve your clap. Yes, let's clap for her. That's a good idea. Thank you for doing it what mom should do and saving your daughter. Well done. Someone who I'm actually happy to clap for. Well done.
Here's what Kathleen says. Social media is a silent killer of our children's generation.
Okay.
According to the CDC, 1 in 4 teens have considered suicide.
Yep.
Double the figure just a decade ago.
And when did that shoot up? Wasn't that during the lockdowns? I thought it was.
For teenage girls, the numbers is 1 in 3.
Yep.
That's why we're going to tackle the scourge of social media that has harmed so many young minds.
See that? Here's a story.
Attorney General James.
That worked.
The two of us together will continue demanding accountability from social media companies. We'll advance legislation to protect children's privacy and regulate the algorithms that target them on social media feeds.
What could go wrong with regulating algorithms? The government will regulate algorithms. What could go wrong? Oh my God. More police state, regulating algorithms.
Tier to support programs so kids can share safe spaces with other kids with the same challenges.
Because that won't go wrong.
Meantime, we have to help the kids who are hurting right now. We'll start with historic investments to make mental health services
we'll put more money into it
to every single school-age child.
We'll just throw more money at our education system, which, by the way, is the most expensive in the country.
That every school that wants a mental health clinic.
She literally told us in the same speech that the kids can't read. She said it. The kids can't read. She said it, not me. I mean, I've been saying it for years, but she actually admitted it. The kids can't read. What we're going to focus on? Social media, mental health, because that matters.
We'll get one.
We'll just make more affirmation therapists pop today
up. By another great New Yorker, Brianna Braverman. Brianna worked tirelessly. She's worked to support school-age New Yorkers through a program called Youth Act.
What?
Which enables young people wrestling with mental illness to stay in their schools and communities rather than receiving inpatient treatment. Thank you, Brianna. Thank you for all you're doing.
Is this like a nonprofit?
So we're building on the progress she already made.
Oh, so she's a nonprofit. We'll take it from here. You've been doing great work. We're going to buy you off, which is what they're going to do with a grant. They will buy her off. So she'll go away. Thanks for the cash, government. She'll get bought off and the government will take it over, make it some kind of bad government program, and it will fail.
Everyone can agree that healthy children are more likely to grow into healthy adults.
Yeah.
But too many grow up without the support they need and pose a danger to themselves or others.
Okay.
That's why I'm proposing comprehensive reforms to our behavioral health system. Starting in 2024.
We're not going to fix family court.
We will require hospitals to screen patients with mental health conditions for risks like suicide, violence, substance abuse, and other complex needs.
So that they can take your guns away.
Also require
that's to lose guns.
That follow-up psychiatric care be coordinated before patients can leave the hospital.
So they're going to make you do psychiatric care when you go to a hospital, which will be in your permanent record, which they will hold against you. Let me say it again. They're going to force you to do psychiatric care. If you don't, they will punish you, and that will go in your record. And some judge will decide, or not some judge, some doctor will decide if you're crazy or not, and they will then punish you.
But
it
hasn't been happening.
Wow.
And let's significantly expand mental health courts.
This is not a bad idea. Okay, she got one good one. Okay, that's a good one. I like that. Just one good one. Okay, look at that.
Court-based mental health specialists are most vulnerable. So our most vulnerable get help.
Okay, we got a good one on this.
Just cycle in and out of the justice system.
I agree.
And as we know, the most extreme cases involve people committing violent crimes, often lacking the capacity to live safely on their own.
True.
Just 2 weeks ago, at Grand Central Station, one of those individuals pulled a knife and stabbed 2 young tourists.
Wait, that's impossible.
Thankfully, the injuries were not life-threatening.
Wait, that could happen.
But episodes like this extract.
You stop guns. Oh, this is a knife.
Psychological toll on our communities and everyone else.
Knife control.
And just as that act of violence was
See, we need hand control. We need common sense, not crazy. Okay, Andrea, common sense. We need common sense hand control for the husbands and boyfriends, and then for the other people who are out who are crazy because of TikTok or whatever. Those people, they're obviously the ones who are out there killing people. To stop social media, we'll have common sense knife control. We'll register knives, and then if you're crazy, because when you go to a hospital, you have to check if you're crazy or not, because she just said it's mandatory now. You don't get to have a knife.
Absolutely abhorrent and inexcusable. So too were the repeated failures that allowed the perpetrator to slip through the cracks.
Yes. Who's in charge?
Numerous mental health conditions,
including
schizophrenia and bipolar disorder.
Yes.
He had a history of terrorizing those he loved and falling into rageful.
Weird how you've been in charge this whole time and you're self-reporting. Yeah. The system that I make and run is terrible. I'm a terrible leader of all these things. So give me even more money and keep voting for me. I'm really bad at what I do. And let me explain how bad I am at what I do. She's self-reporting how bad she is and how much she sucks. People are like, yeah, Queen, give you more. Go more. Oh, my God.
Menacing episodes. He should have received help.
I agree.
Long ago.
Yes.
We can no longer wait for someone to lash out and hurt someone before we take action, because by then, it's already too late.
Oh,
and a relatively small number of people need the most intensive care.
Okay.
So we'll fund specialized housing to provide services to these individuals with a history of criminal justice involvement.
Wrong. We'll just fund more.
We often know New Yorkers in crisis are discharged back into our communities.
It's true.
Not because they've recovered.
Now why?
But because there's no more room in our hospitals.
Wait a minute, but you control the hospital beds.
We're creating 200 best-in-class patient beds.
Best-in-class.
Serious needs.
Those are the good ones.
But mental health care is not just for those in crisis.
Oh, no.
Whether it's anxiety, depression, grief, addiction. We've all needed support.
It's true.
At one time or another to get to the struggles of life.
And the problem is we didn't have government to give us beds.
Seeing a therapist can be expensive.
Can be.
Some people can't afford out-of-pocket payment.
One of the reasons why is in New York State, you have to have a license to be a therapist now. Yes, you can talk to people unless you have a license. And if you talk to people and you don't have a license, you might get in trouble.
And for too long.
Wait a minute, we have all these licensed therapists. How come we don't have better health care? I don't get it. This isn't making sense, Your Majesty.
Many insurance companies have refused to adequately pay for mental health support.
That's it.
That changes now. I want to increase reimbursement rates for all state licensed mental health services. And the new regulations will require insurers to provide out-of-network coverage when timely appointments are not available. That
will not raise the price at all. The insurance companies will just absorb that.
To enforce it will give the Department of Financial Services more staff, more discretion to increase fines.
They'll give... So you'll give more staff, more jobs to your department now with more discretion to increase fines. Because not only will we make more jobs, we don't want to raise any more taxes, we'll make more fines and fees. Because that'll work. Because fines and fees always stop big business every single time. Stops them, except for never. It works always. Except for it never works ever. Except for that, it works every single time. Oh my God, that won't raise insurance. That won't make a monopoly in New York State. That won't do any of those things, except it will do exactly that and has in the past. This never works ever, and we keep doing it.
Insurers who flout the new rules. So I recommend you don't. This matters.
Because you'll teach them.
Because we know when people don't get help, their struggles only become more intense.
Yeah.
Addiction is the same.
Joe says it right.
We've all seen lives in every corner of the state.
0% of the time, it works every time. 100%.
Sapped by opioid dependence. My own family has been touched by this epidemic of pain.
I remember you didn't pay for your nephew. You need help.
I still mourn the loss of my nephew.
Yes, you didn't pay for him.
And the millions of other lives needlessly cut short.
She was a multimillionaire.
We're harnessing over $200
and she didn't pay for a nephew to go into a
settlement fund secured by our Attorney General James to bolster.
Oh my God, $200 million settlement funds. That'll help. More money.
For addiction treatment professionals.
Yes.
To grow our street outreach efforts, distribute more naloxone, and millions more life-saving fentanyl test strips.
Just give this test strips.
We're leading the nation in disbursement of these funds and spending them quicker than any other state.
Yeah.
I envision a future
where we will spend all of the money as fast as possible. Wow. What Space, you were on the money with this. Not only is she like, you know what? I've raised all the spending and I'm spending it faster than ever. Nobody spends faster than me. You go, Queen, slay.
Where no parent ever again has to find their child lifeless and glassy-eyed on the floor. Where every New Yorker can feel safe walking the streets or taking the subway.
I like that. Sounds
and
great.
where our children have every resource to become the best version of themselves. Protecting financial health.
Okay, financial health.
New Yorkers has to be a top priority for ours as well.
It's like the last thing you're talking about.
We've worked hard together, the legislature and our administration, to make New York more affordable.
No, you haven't. That's a lie.
Since I took office, we raised the minimum wage and tied it to inflation.
Okay, how does raising the minimum wage make New York State more affordable?
We delivered tax relief and utility savings to millions of
low and
middle-class New Yorkers.
That's a blatant lie. No.
World-class companies bringing their high-paying jobs to New York.
Okay,
Last week,
that's not true. You have bribed the military-industrial complex to come here temporarily while you bribe them to build military-industrial complex stuff, and then they will leave. I talked about this in my radio show earlier today. If you want to check it out, it is on my it's on my YouTube page.
I detailed a series of actions to protect New Yorkers from cheats and scammers.
Ooh, cheats and scammers.
Right now, I'm proposing the first significant change to our consumer protection laws in over 40 years.
Yeah, because that's what we care about, I guess.
We're going to prohibit unfair and abusive practices like student loan servicers pushing borrowers toward the most expensive repayment options.
Or you could not use student loans at all or stop people from going to our terrible colleges, which suck. That would also be something. But
and debt collectors who manipulate seniors into giving up their protected income. We'll establish regulations on the buy now, pay later loan industry, which often lures customers into spending beyond their means. And we're taking on medical debt and dramatically increasing paid disability leave.
Oh, paid disability leave now.
Believe it or not, disability leave has not been raised a penny in 35 years.
We are making sure.
What's the point of paying for this benefit?
What's the point of going to work at all?
It only gives you a fraction.
What's the point of going to work at all?
To recover, we have to right this wrong and increase this benefit from a paltry $170 a week, which is what people get right now, to bring it up where it would have been adjusted for inflation, as much as $1,250. That's 7 times more than it's been, and I say it's about time.
Okay, she didn't just say they're going to get $1,200 a week. If so, I'm about to disable.
We all know, any of us can be struck with an illness or a weightlifting mishap in the gym. Can happen at any moment.
Well, are we getting $1,250 a week if we're disabled? Is that what she just said?
ride in the ambulance.
I'm going to go play in traffic. That's all I'm saying. I'm about to play in traffic.
Lead to people's financial ruin. You've seen it. I've already signed some of your bills, and thank you. Scrubbing medical debt from credit reports, banning providers from garnishing wages. That's good. I like that. That's a good one. And now what we're going to do next.
She's got some good ones.
I'm proposing that we protect low-income New Yorkers from being sued by the medical debt that they cannot pay. And cap.
So we don't have to pay medical debt?
Cap monthly payments and interest, and expand hospital financial assistance programs.
Hospital financial assistance programs.
The cost of life-saving medicine, and also
if the government's going to pay
of the 1.6 million New Yorkers diagnosed with diabetes, many can't afford the insulin.
But you run
this. One of them
is
Heather Whitney, who's needed insulin every day to survive for the last 32 years. Heather joins us today. Heather, please stand up.
This is you. You run this thing. Like you run all of this.
She has spent her life
managing you could make it cheaper, maybe,
while fighting on behalf of others. So students don't have to ration their insulin when they go off to college. Seniors don't have to skip entire doses. And diabetic parents don't have to go without insulin to make sure their own sick child has what it needs.
I think
so
I'm disabled.
Thank you for your advocacy on behalf of our citizens.
Did she? I'm just go back and check it. Did she say $12.50 a week?
So let's end that as well. I want a ban on copays for insulin for anyone, and a ban on copays too. Ban.
If you got insulin,
because
no copay. If you got other stuff, copay.
No one has to become a diabetic, and they deserve our care and compassion.
They deserve it. But if you don't have diabetes, you don't deserve nothing.
Issue when it comes
all right, Joe, you have diabetes, you don't deserve stuff.
Ready? Okay. The obscenely high cost of rents and mortgages caused by the unconscionable shortage of housing in New York.
Yeah. Yes. You could let people build houses. You could do that.
Yeah, it's one of the forces driving people out of every corner of our state.
Yes, they're leaving our state. Yes. Joe says, I'm deaf in one ear. How much do I get? It's not diabetes. You don't count. Sal says, I got 7 disability from the VA. Do I get a check? You don't have diabetes. You don't count. Diabetes. That's what matters. You people don't matter. They don't have to pay anything. All right? Can you get a program? Deadbeats. Diabetes.
And out-migration is a problem we need to talk about.
Yeah!
For 50 years, we've been hemorrhaging families who no longer can raise their children in the same communities where they were born.
Okay, she actually said it. For 50 years, I only said 20. She went back 30 more than me. Fine. New York State has been either growing the least and or losing population for 50 years. Family's been least. She said 50. I said 20. I'm going to go with her. I like what she said better. 50 years losing. Been saying that for 7 years. I've been saying that to people. She's finally admitting it. She says, we can't afford to live here. We can't raise families. But didn't she just say that she was making it more affordable? Didn't she just say the state of New York State is the best it's been? She's lying. This state's a disaster. And the people who are leaving prove it. She just told herself.
This decline shows no sign of stopping.
Yes. None of you have done anything to stop it. Cuomo didn't care. You don't care. And nothing you've said in here at all has shown for any growth whatsoever. All you've done is virtue signal and punish. You virtue signaled and punished. And you wonder, why don't people stay? Everything you've been trying to achieve, you have been achieving in your one-party state for the past 20 years. And what's happened? It's worse and worse and worse. Your ideas don't work. They suck. They make things worse. How do I know that? People are leaving.
But here's what's so interesting. People aren't necessarily moving for warmer weather or lower taxes.
That's what Cuomo said.
Many are moving next door.
Yep.
Of the top 5 states that New Yorkers are moving to, 3 of them share our borders and have similar taxes.
Connecticut, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania.
People are earning in New York, but living in New Jersey,
yep,
Pennsylvania, and Connecticut.
Yep.
We're losing population relative.
Because you suck. Because your government is garbage. Because Cuomo is garbage. Democratic Party in the state is garbage. Republican Party in the state is garbage. Our judges are garbage. That's why our entire system is a steaming pile of shit. And you won't accept that. Finally, you said the quiet part out loud. They're all leaving. They go to Jersey or Connecticut, Pennsylvania, because it's a little bit better. Then they get tired and leave those states. Jersey's losing people and so tomorrow too, because they're as bad as us. They start with us, and then they go down to Florida, they go down to Texas, they go down to South Carolina, Georgia. They all go to Tennessee. They leave. They leave. Stop with the same horrible policies. Copy what the growing states are doing, giving their people more freedom.
Other states. And what does that mean?
You suck is what it means.
It's a loss of influence.
Yeah, and also money.
We went from 43 members of Congress when I was a little girl to just 26 today.
43 to 26, and you have learned nothing. How stupid or corrupt are you? I mean, you are both, but you're more corrupt than stupid.
But for decades,
yeah,
no elected official in New York had the political courage to even start a conversation about building more housing.
Yes, except Larry Sharpe in 2018.
Nation, including our neighbors, showed ambition that dwarfed our own.
Yeah.
From 2011 to 2020, Washington, D.C. developed 72 new housing units per 1,000 residents. Boston developed 47. New York City, thriving metropolis, place people want to be, only 27.
Yeah.
People want to be here.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing now because I'm starting to want to vomit. So, because I've said all these things for decades. For decades. I'm the one who said all these things for decades. And finally, the most important piece of all of this, she actually said right out loud, New York State is losing people like there's no tomorrow. We are everything that these Democrats in my state want, the Republicans want to, but say nothing about it. One state party rule always makes things worse. Every time. Always makes things worse. My state's a disaster. If you like what I'm saying, click that like button. If you're watching on Twitter, please retweet this. If you want to support the show, super chat me or head over to patreon.com/Sharpway. The last piece I'll say, we need real change in the state. We need independent parties in the state. We need third parties in the state, and they have stopped it. Need them everywhere. Democrats are not going to solve this problem. Republicans are not going to solve this problem. Somebody else has to, not them. Guys, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for this evening. You gave me 2 hours tonight. Thank you so much. I will try to get back on maybe this Thursday or Friday. I'll be back on if I can. I will see you all very soon.